guys, Android Andy here. We have here the Moto G versus the Moto E. Motorola's two budget phones. On release the Moto G was 135, on release today or yesterday the Moto E only £90. I'm going to start off with the boot test while I'm talking. The Moto E does have lower specs than the G, so it kind of makes sense that it's a cheaper price. They're almost identical in weight, 1 gram heavier on the Moto G. The G has no internal slot, memory card slot, but the Moto E does. But then the G comes in 16 or 32 gig, sorry, 8 or 16 with 1 gig of RAM. This only has 4 gig with 1 gig of RAM, but because it has a micro SD card slot, that's easily sold very cheaply. If we look at the other hardware, the screen itself, the Moto G has a 720 by 1280 4.5 inch screen at 326 pixels per inch. The Moto E has a 540 by 960 4.3 inch screen, giving 256 pixels per inch. So not a massive amount in it, but the G does have the higher res screen. They both have Corning Gorilla Glass 3. If we look at the processors, the Moto G has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 running at 1.2 gigahertz. The Moto E has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 200 running at 1.2 gigahertz. Adreno 305 GPU against Adreno 302 GPU. So, as you get, again, differences, slightly more expensive parts, slightly cheaper parts. A 2070 mAh battery and a 1980 mAh battery. Once again, you are getting a better device with the Moto G. Do you know what? I wasn't actually watching which one booted up first. Still, oh, it's off onto its. I'm going to install everything you've ever used fit, so I'm going to interrupt that for a moment. Well, hopefully I am anyway. Actually, what we'll do anyway, as I do these days, I will give them both a couple of minutes to sort of settle, and then we'll start in on the tests. Okay, that's been a few minutes. That should be plenty of time for them to settle down doing whatever they wanted to do. They're both connected to the same Wi-Fi, I would point out, just because some people ask. We're going to do the Angry Birds opening test to kick things off. I would point out this one's all I can see. I've put both of them up to highest brightness. Clearly the Moto G. Clearly the Moto G has a much brighter screen, much better looking screen. I can see that already. It quite easily won that test. We'll do it once more just to be sure. There you go. You see, I mean, look at the whites there. They seem grey there, if I'm honest. Yep. So very easily. You see there, they're both at the same speed. Oh, actually, the E has more memory available. Interesting. We will run the benchmarks. As usual, I won't make you watch them. We'll come back momentarily. Come back just as the Moto G is finished. Now, normally that gets dwarfed by most of the devices. Wow, the multi-core score got smashed. So the single core, not a massive difference, really, you know, 22 in the grand scheme of things. What's that, about 7%, 8% in that? But then the multi-core almost doubles in the Moto G. And once again, I don't know how well it shows on the video, but you can see the screen on the Moto G much, much better. It almost makes you appreciate how good the Moto G is, really. Just to confirm, I've just turned GPS on both of them. Neither of them actually had it enabled before, so it's now both on high accuracy. So to be fair, neither of them had it on for literally months. Let's see what happens. They're both in a very similar state at the moment. Got a few yellow lines. Got one lock on the E, 2 locks. 6. It's got an actual lock, the Moto E. Is the G going to get any? I think what I will do, I do sometimes wonder the window is over on this side of the room, and I wonder if this device has an advantage. So what we are going to do, tools, manage APS. I'm going to reset them both and come out. Reset, come out. So you see their internal GPS state cleared. I'm going to swap them over. I'm going to start them up again. There you go, you see it kind of reset itself. I think the imagery was just left from the last time. No, neither. Oh, some yellows on the Moto G. And the Moto G has the lock and the E doesn't. Right, I think I'm going to have to move near the window and get them both in a very similar position to be able to run this test fairly. Once again, let's just tools, manage APS state, reset, come out of the app. Right, let me reposition. Right, it's a little odd, but they're both in the same position. There is a TV between the window and the satellites, but that should be a fairer test, and it looks like the G locked very quickly. The E's got 3 out of 3 satellites. I know it's going to need a couple more, I think, to get a decent location. Maybe it's not going to at all. 6 now. 4 out of 7. 4 out of 8. 4 out of 9. Come on! 5. It locked quicker than this when it was over on my desk. Anyway, we've seen the winner, the Moto G, so I guess we'll move on. Okay, I just have the one music track easily accessible, but that's fine. We'll start up on the Moto E.
Tell me where to go, tell me what to do. I'll be right there for you. Tell me what. Tell me where to go, tell me what to do. I'll be right there for you. Tell me what. I'll save you from all the wars that I've fought. Save you from all the wars that I've fought. Inside your world, please have faith in my words. Inside your world, please have faith in my.
That's quite interesting. I think the G is slightly louder, but the E possibly sounds a little better.
'Cause this is my legacy, words. 'Cause this is my legacy.
Just got a little bit more bass. When I did the sound test and when I tried it before, I thought it had absolutely no bass, but, or maybe, as I often say, it just sounds a little more rounded. So that's quite tinny. This just seems a little more rounded. So interesting. You could possibly award that the Moto E. Let's go right into browser test. So let's clear. That's when I was last doing browser test. Clear everything away. Go into settings. Clear browsing data. Clear. So you've seen that happen. Whoops, done that one, sorry. Come all the way back out. So, new tab. Let's go to BBC. Okay, let's search BBC News. Did it not register that tab? Didn't register on either, and that's not a good sign, is it really? So the G was quicker. NFL. Ooh, just the G. Only just though. If I'm sorry, they're still loading. I shouldn't interrupt. There we go. The G is finished. The E is still going. There it is. And as usual, we will. I can't spell Engadget. G, yeah, I mean, there's not a massive amount between them there really. They're still loading there. Let's see. Cookies came up quite a lot quicker on the G. G's finished. As I said earlier, they're both on the exactly same Wi-Fi, and the E's finished. So yeah, the G did have the faster browser. Let's have a look. Let's go with the cookie policy bit if we can. They're both pretty smooth, I would say. But again, you can see the differences in the whites there. Pretty clear. So, I don't think there's any doubt from that. The Moto G is the better phone. The Moto E at £90, considering I've picked up a G after Christmas for, I think it was about £90, I would want to see the E drop down to maybe 65, 70, 65, even 60 I suppose perhaps, because it is clearly, you know, when the G came out we thought it was a budget phone, well it is a budget phone, and we thought we'd have to make some allowances for it, and actually it was quite surprising how well it stood up against the other devices, probably with the camera being the only weak area. But now with the E, there are definitely more weak areas, so the screen being one of them. I think the Moto G is an amazing screen really for its money, but the E, you can see that's a budget screen. Anyway, I've given you the evidence for you to decide yourselves really. Let me know in the comments what you think. How cheap would the E have to be for you to think it was a good buy? Would you still stick with the Moto G, because actually it's pretty powerful for the money that you pay? You decide. My name's Andy, I'll catch you all again soon.